so many of them just aren't getting the work that they want, and teaching them that there's just not that much work out there, and you've got to make your own opportunities. You've got to figure out what is it that you have that's unique that you can take to people, to organizations, or is there some activity that you can set up using your creative skills in a different way, in a new way?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. For myself, I got a job as a fairy when I had a casting agent, and I realized I was getting so much work for this small business owner for kids' entertainment, dressed as a fairy and a pirate and characters, that someone put the idea in my head when I think I was 24, 25, like, why are you working for another business when you could literally use your skills, create a business, and take it to the marketplace and get double or maybe even triple what you're getting right now from the paycheck? And I was like, oh, Pete, literally, I said this. I could never own my own business. Like, I'm an actress, like, I'm a dancer. I could never have my own business. I don't have a business degree. And the person asked me, Pete, they were like, so what do you need? Do you, and I was like, okay, I rattled off the list like costumes, microphone, a script, maybe a website. At the time, it was 2011. So, there wasn't so much social media focus
Mm.
back then. But I think I built a Facebook page. So, anyways, long story short, I decided to take a little bit of money from the paycheck I was getting from hospitality because the casting calls were very, very few coming in to pay the bills, of course. So I'd get a little bit of money from my hospitality, put it into a costume, and I'd do that weekly. And it took me about 6 months to build up all the equipment that I needed. Then I was like, I need a website. And at the time, people were it was about $10,000 for a website. And I was like, well, I don't have that. What do I do? So I went to Google and Googled, websites and found a 350 USD website template hosting package. Bought that and figured out the code by literally copying and pasting and seeing what title would come out and put back in, if you get what I mean. So it was just trial and error. And then I was ready. So within 6 months, I launched my own business. My mum was like, don't quit your job. And I was like, watch me. 2 weeks, I had nothing. And I was like, I should have listened to mum. And then it happened. The first job happened, and then two jobs, and then three jobs. And by the end of that year, so I think I launched it in the middle of the year, about July. At the end of the year, I had too much work and I had to ask my actor friends to help me out. So that was sort of my introduction to business. It was just a matter of someone giving me the belief, me diving in, and I have this ability, and I'd love to know about yourself. I think we're a bit similar, this ability to jump in and figure it out and not let things stop me along the way. I'll just find the answer to the problem. So, do you feel that you function that way, Pete? Like you use your creativity to solve problems in your business?
Yeah, absolutely. And like when you started your business and you had to figure out how to make a website, there's always a few different ways to get anything done. You can find an expert and pay them. It's the most expensive way to do it. You can get good deals out there sometimes, of course, but then you also end up having to project manage whoever that person is. You can't just say, "Oh, give me a website," and they go off and do it. You've got to go back and forth and give them a brief and all of that kind of stuff. Or you could just figure it out yourself. And I think because I had a background in the arts and I was doing stints of really intensive work, and then I was not working for months in the corporate career running my own business. Like I wasn't earning a huge salary for quite a lot of those early years. So I wasn't going to be sinking all of my money into things that I could figure out how to do myself. So I think, yeah, it sounds like we've had a very similar journey of self-educating. Like, I'm really curious to know nowadays that it's been quite some time since you first started your fairy business. What's your process now?
Yeah, so geez, I was in my 20s and now I'm in my 40s. So when I started that business, I had really no idea, just a burning desire and a drive. And Pete, they were saying that I shouldn't have my own business. I shouldn't be in business because I don't have a business degree. And I don't know if anyone's listening. Have you ever been told you shouldn't be doing the thing, but you really need to because the thing you can't stop thinking about it in your mind? Have you ever had that? If you have, put it in the comments below. They were like, literally, don't quit your job. I'm really worried about you. All the negative stuff was coming at me. And I was like, no, I know that this is the thing that I really need to do, even though I love acting and I've been studying. I've had associate diploma for speech and drama from Trinity College, and I was acting since a 5-year-old. But look, I just knew I needed to dive in and have my own business. So I followed that and didn't listen to the naysayers. And then all of a sudden, like the work started coming in, and it was sort of like heaven. I was like, oh my gosh, this is what they said I shouldn't be having, but it's working because of all the work that I've done. I've dived in and I've figured it out. And wow, this is what it's like to work for yourself, to be passionate, to deliver joy and happiness to people, and to actually find that success after people telling you no. So for me right now, being in business for, I think it's been 15 years, I use that ability to not let the words of other people come in between me and a dream. I don't let, just because I don't have a business degree, or I didn't go to Harvard, or I don't look like Elle Macpherson, or I don't look like that person over there, so I shouldn't do the thing. Like, I think as humans, Pete, and you can probably agree to this, humans always compare yourself to others or listen to the naysayers. But in a world of negativity, we really need to listen to our heart and our intuition and just dive in and do the thing that you know you need to do, because that's what we're here to serve people. And I think intuition and the internal guidance isn't listened to enough. And the minute that I didn't listen to other people and I followed the intuition and I figured it out, it was like heaven on earth. If anyone's watching, have you ever dived in and figured something out and found massive success? I'd love to hear about it. But now, yeah, so I'm speaking to so many people. I'm empowering women through pageantry to find their own leadership skills to help them brand themselves. But I really figured out along this way, Pete, that speaking is a very powerful thing. I
Mm.
feel like speaking is sort of spiritual. Um, I'm not religious, but you can look at the Bible, for example, and see stories of people speaking and attracting people from thousands and thousands of miles and coming in to hear people speak. And and actually they talk about business in the Bible quite a bit. It's quite interesting. But long story short, the act of speaking one to many can really help businesses in so many ways. And I feel that speaking is quite daunting for someone who doesn't have the performing arts background like you and I have, Pete. And I'd love to get your idea on speaking as well. Um, for someone who doesn't have the performing arts skills to speak on stage or to pick up a script and deliver it, it is quite scary and daunting. And I think fear sets in, but I love to empower people to find their brand and to go out and speak, because it's one thing going to a networking thing and giving your card out to 100 people, but it's another when you get invited to speak on stage. Now you're speaking to one to maybe 100 people in the audience. Now
Mm.
you're becoming the influencer in the room, the person of importance, because you've braved yourself to be up on that stage. You're sharing your message with everyone. It might not land or resonate with everyone, but you're being the influential person in the room, and there is power of that. And so I just love the power of speaking, and I love to empower people to step over the hurdles of the fear, of the naysaying, of the I can't becauses, and step into their true power and live the life that they were meant to live. So, Pete, for yourself, coming from a performing arts background like myself and the male version of me, um, how do you feel speaking is for yourself? Is it something that you find easy or tricky?
Mm. Well, I come from the performing arts industry, but I've never been an actor. That's not my thing. So I guess I started at a big disadvantage compared to an actor who's already got used to stepping out in front of an audience and delivering lines and all of the nerves and embarrassment and feelings that come along with that. I started to run this theatre festival, Short and Sweet, we talked about earlier. And I had to go and present as part of that, and I hated it. I felt so, I just felt like they didn't want some dude to come up and just yap at them at the end of at the end of the night. They wanted to go home. The last thing they need is just more, yapping. They're tired. It's 10 o'clock. So I just hated doing it. And it just took me just practice and practice and practice. And honestly, one of the best pieces of advice I could give is it's like a lot of things in life. You do not start out as an expert. You don't pick up a guitar and know how to like rip out an epic solo. Nobody can do that. You have some amount of natural talent, some more than others, but nobody's an expert when they start, and just doing it is the best thing that you can do. Just going out there, presenting as much as you can, do some training, get some coaching or classes if that's what you need. Do something like Toastmasters, so you're just getting out there and practicing it. And like it might take some time. It actually took me a year or two, I reckon, before I realized, hey, I'm not nervous doing this anymore. I actually like it. And one of the best things I ever did for my business is just running a launch event where I invited 100+ people and presented on stage. That was amazing. It was such a great way of talking about what I'm doing, and you get all of the credibility and authority of being the guy like holding the microphone in front of the room full of people. And yeah, like it's an investment, but like people will remember that. They'll remember that you were the one talking to them for an hour or 2 hours or whatever. So I think like it's a really powerful tool you can use if you can find a way of getting people into a room.
Mm.
So yeah, like the number one thing for me is just keep at it. Don't worry if you're not naturally good. No one picks up a guitar and is naturally great, It's just like anything. You got to practice this skill.
Yeah.
But I've got a question for you now, Laura. We're going back and forth.
Yeah, I love
We're
it.
co-interviewing each other. Like you've talked about the barriers as
Yes.
well, and I think that's a really great question to dig a little bit deeper into. So,
Hmm.
what else do you think holds people back from doing this kind of thing, from running their own
Yeah.
business, from getting
Yeah.
in front of people and being the face?
I literally, Pete, think it's the mindset and not realizing that what you just said, practice makes perfect. It's a muscle. Speaking is a muscle. Anything that you're doing brand new, you have to work at building that muscle, like athletes thinking about, going to play golf. Like the best athletes in the world won't just practice their bodies, sorry, they also will practice their mind by visualizing it. So I heard about Tiger Woods. He would sit at home after a day of practice or whatever, and he would visualize the swings in his mind, where he was on the field, and how the ball looked when he hit it, and how it looked when he landed it, and it's all part of the game. And so I think that people don't realize that to be a better speaker or to dive in to business, it's all brand new. So you're going to feel nerves, you're going to feel maybe a bit of anxiety, but it's all good emotions, because we feel that way because as humans, it's our body saying, hey, you haven't done this before. This is an unfamiliar feeling. And so it's sort of alerting us in the body, but we got to embrace those feelings and know that the impulse that you had in the beginning that led you to decide to start the thing, that impulse was a message from the power be, right? You might call it God, the universe, Allah, whatever it is that you call it. That impulse was there for a reason. It's a message to signal you to say, yes, that's the thing that you need to be doing. Many people fear to public speak. And that's why I'm so excited about what we're about to do. And we'll talk about that later.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
um, people fear the one thing that they need to be doing. How do you stand out from the competition? How do you stand out in a crowd and be seen? Well, many businesses will just build a website and tinker around and never really sell a lot, and they'll struggle in the first year or two or whatever. But what if everyone's got their expertise? Pete's got amazing expertise, different to mine. We're in a similar industry, but different to mine. And so we can partner up. But what I'm saying is, everyone has their unique message, their unique information inside of them that will help someone else. So the minute that you come out of your barriers, as you beautifully put it, the minute that you step through the fear barrier and step over the other side, that's when abundance can start happening in your life. And so I heard this speaker say once, she was on this ledge and she was so afraid to speak. And she was like, feeling like she was about to like jump off the ledge. And that's what she felt like when she was about to step out onto the stage. And she was like, I know I should be doing this, but my body's saying no. And I know I should be speaking, but I just really can't go right now. I can't feel it. And anyways, the minute that she dove off the ledge, as she eloquently put it, into the light and shared her voice, but put the focus on other people, put the focus on serving others, put the focus on sharing with others her knowledge to empower them, to inspire them. That's when she started feeling not fearful, fearless. She became a queen, a fearless queen, an abundance queen, if you will, because she decided to, even though I felt this way and I didn't want to jump, she jumped. She took the leap of faith. She had faith that she was doing something of greatness, of value. And all of a sudden, all the fear went away. And she could then relax into the moment and just share from her words and share from her heart. And apparently, she got all these opportunities after this one particular speaking event that she really didn't want to speak at because she was so nervous of messing up. But she beautifully explained it like she was diving off the mountain. She had faith that everything would work out, and it did. Because what's going to happen when you jump is you're not going to fall and hurt yourself. You might fall, but you'll get up. You'll keep on getting up, and you'll keep on jumping and getting up, and you won't fall and die. You won't fall and hurt yourself. Just know that every single thing will work out. And I use that same idea and imagery for business. Any lesson or anything that doesn't look perfect or doesn't work out the way that you feel it should, it's there for a reason, for a lesson, so you can get stronger and be stronger and build better. So anything that you have in your business that doesn't work, maybe there's a Facebook ad and maybe there's a funnel that doesn't work out, which I'd love to get your ideas and expertise on funnels, but maybe something's not working out. It's okay. Just get excited that it didn't work out, because now you're going to be better. You're going to be better. You're going to build better, and for the purpose of serving so many other people. And so I feel a lot of the barriers come from fear, fear of other people judging you, fear of failure, fear of getting it wrong. But
Yeah.
if you constantly embrace the fear, you'll never start. And you can never get it wrong. You can only learn and be better and better. There's been so many mistakes in my last 15 years that I've had that I've learned from, and now I can share other people. Hey, don't do that because of X, Y, and Z. This is the way that you can get exposure. It's stronger, it's way better, and it's not so salesy or whatever. So, anyways, that was my kind of understanding of embracing the fear and jumping in and doing it anyway. So, Pete, what are your thoughts? And I want to hear your thoughts about funnels as well, because that's an area that I know you're very good at.
Yeah, look, I just want to kind of reflect on what you said there. I mean, I totally agree. Um, I think we're kind of we're saying the same thing in quite different ways, but at the end of the day, like if it's irrational to expect it's going to be you're going to be great at it or it's going to be easy. It won't be. It'll be scary. It'll be embarrassing. You probably won't be great the first few times you do it, or maybe even the first many times you do it. I can attest to that. I wasn't great doing what I had to do until one day I realized that I was actually getting pretty good at it. And to kind of like to zero in on that thing you were saying about, finding your passion and your calling, like whether you think of it in a kind of spiritual way or not, like this is what you want to do, right? This is your drive. And people who don't have drive don't tend to do very much. In the long run, it just doesn't work out. The number one thing you need to do anything that's like self-starting is drive. So if you feel that drive, no matter how you think of it, whether you think of it as a religious thing or a spiritual thing or not at all, I just think it's so important to follow that drive. I think that's going to give you a lot of satisfaction in life.
Can I
So
just jump in there, Pete? A lot of people are afraid to start their own business or public speak or whatever because of I can't becauses. I can't afford it even. I can't afford it. And so what's your take on I
hmm.
can't afford it? I'd love to hear because as a person in business, I feel that those words can just be cancerous for business people. And so when you hear I can't because, or what does I can't because I can't afford it, or whatever, I can't afford it, what does that mean to you?
Well, there's always an excuse for anything. And there's always a reason to try something. You just have to choose which one of those things you're going to do. If you can't afford something, if you can't afford the time or if you can't afford the money, because to ask yourself again, do you want this enough? If so, save some money up, uh, save some time up, make some time for yourself, right? Like we all have 24 hours a day, and some people run marathons and work full time and raise a family and run a business or a side gig. And some people, get up out of bed at 10:30 and AM. That's a bit more like me. I'm not a morning person, but we all have the same number of hours in the day, and it's up to you what you want to do with them.
Love that. For me, it's like a decision. There's abundance of money everywhere. You just look out the window to see cars, cars, cars. There's things everywhere. You look in your house and there's money everywhere, like meaning there's cups, there's tables, da, da, da. There's things everywhere, all over your house. So I believe it's a decision. If there's something out there that you need to learn, and by saying, I'm not going to do that because I can't afford it, it's like giving up on deciding to get better. Someone out there has gone ahead of me, and this is how I built my business 15 years ago. I'm looking at the people who've gone ahead of me and built structures and built business. That's how I found my success in my business, was copying structures that other people had implemented, and it cuts out all the time and all the fuss and all the fluff, right? But if you try and reinvent the wheel and figure out a brand new way, it's going to take you a lot longer. So for myself in business, I'm always looking for a way to cut the time and to build a better business that can be more impactful for people's lives and can empower and inspire many people. So I'm always looking to shorten the time and serve more people on a bigger scale. I want to say that when you go and speak and you empower people, no longer is it about one person to one person, it's about one person to many. Now your value increases as a person that can deliver a message that can empower and inspire to many people at one time. Now your paycheck goes up in your life as well because you're now being paid to inspire and empower people from one to many. So speaking is a very powerful tool, and that's why the most wealthy people in the world usually are speakers. The minute that you can learn how to speak one to many, your pay will go up in your life, your influence will go up in your life. And even if you have multiple businesses, you're the influencer in the middle of your business. Steve Jobs was the personal brand and Apple was the business. So
Mm,
what are you doing today that will make you the personal brand of your business or businesses? So yeah,
mm.
influence.
Like people come to me all the time, and it might be someone that I interacted with 10 years ago. And then that person has an idea and they've just thought of me. Something's made them think of me. And then they've called me up and said, "Oh, hey, like Pete, I've got this idea. Maybe you could help out." But like if you build that sort of value stream behind you, that's something that can really keep paying off over and over again over time.
I couldn't agree with you more. And the fact is that we're connected still because you were the person of influence in the room when we first met. so many years ago. So, Pete, I know how amazing you are with marketing. So, quickly before we end this amazing conversation today, it's been so fun. I'd like to touch on marketing, especially funnels, because there's so much information out there. Your head starts to spin when you start to think about it. So maybe if there's one or two tricks that you can share with us about building a funnel in business, I'd love to hear about it.
Absolutely. I think a really good way to think about it is like how social interactions work. How does it work if you make a new friend? If you meet somebody and you have a bit of a chat, and then you're like, hey, you know what? Like, we seem to really get along. And the person's like, yeah. And you're like, oh, why don't we go out on holidays together? You know, I'm going to Bali. Do you want to come with me? It's going to be kind of creepy 99 times out of 100. And actually, that's kind of how a lot of people do marketing. They
Mm,
go too far too fast.
mm,
And so the idea of a funnel is just taking your customers or your stakeholders on a journey that kind of warms them up to something that might be more like, let's go to Bali together, stranger. Um, there's a couple of concepts that I might just mention briefly, and then we can expand on those next time. There's the idea of a sales cycle, which is like how long does it take before you sell your product or service. So this is particularly true if you've got a big ticket item, like I have a business incubator course that I mentioned before. Well, you know, it's a 6 month training course. We're asking for a decent amount of money for it. It's good value, but even still, it's a lot of money. And you can't just hand someone a flyer and expect that they're going to be like, oh, yeah, business training. That's what I need. Okay, I'm just going to commit 6 months of my time and thousands of dollars to it. It's just not how we work. And if you think about your own experience, I think that's a really good way to just validate what I'm saying is like, how many times have you picked up a flyer and then spent $1,000 or more? It doesn't happen. We don't do it. So the idea of a funnel is about building a relationship. And the reason why we call it a funnel is because we might reach a lot of people at first, and not all of those people come through to the next stage. It's a funneling down to a smaller number. So if you're reaching 1 million people by having a YouTube channel or a Instagram account or something like that, and then you want to offer, let's just say, some kind of training course around the thing that you do, the thing that you're great at, you will not have a 100% conversion rate, not even close. So it's about creating a journey from that first step of somebody becoming aware of you for the first time to engaging with you and your content or whatever it is that you do, maybe becoming a subscriber, maybe signing up to something small, a trial product or something like that, all the way to the point where that person actively promotes you without you even having to ask. So, that's the core concept of a funnel. And yeah, I'll expand a bit more on that next time. I'd love to go into the finer details of it.
Okay, Pete, that's going to lead us into this. Then I would love to invite you to my upcoming workshop. Would you like to come along? Pete,
I'm going to
I,
be
I think
there.
that you should be speaking on the funnels because I think it would be an amazing topic. So how about we do a workshop together coming up? What do you think?
100%. I'm
Okay.
I'm, I'm going to be there.
All right. That's amazing. So
You hooked me in. There you go.
okay,
Sale
awesome. I'll hook you in there,
date.
Pete. So, how about we do this? We'll put the link for the upcoming workshop below. Pete will be speaking on how to build a funnel and how to attract and the conversation around communicating with your clients through a funnel. And then in a moment, I'll ask you to divulge on it. I will be speaking about how to launch your speaking career or how to use speaking in your business to become the person of influence, to stand out in the crowd, beat your competitors, and really be someone that like Pete, people reach out to on a daily basis to ask something or whatever. So I'm going to be speaking and sharing with you some information that can help you put structures in place so you can build an amazing speech and emotionally move your clients by sharing some information and also having an aha moment in your crowd. So that's going to be amazing. I can't wait to be there. So, Pete, would you like to speak for a moment on your funnels and the communication and so forth, and what you're planning on doing at the workshop?
Yeah, sure. So, I think what I'll do is I'll go much deeper into what I kind of explained at a concept level just now, and talk through the different steps to elaborate on the different kinds of activities you could do at those steps. But we also need to think about the delivery mechanisms behind a funnel as well, because there's lots of different ways to communicate, whether it is by, podcasting or emailing or doing a physical in-person event. So understanding how all of those things interacts and fit into the mix as well. And I didn't mention this earlier, but the main business that I run these days is actually business back-end development, so websites and the systems that power them. So we focus a lot on automations and integrations and trying to turn your 6 or 7 different apps into one centralized, usually a CRM, a customer relationship management system. So understanding the kind of technical ways that these things can work. I mean, it won't be so technical that you won't be able to follow it. Like just talking about the concepts and some of the kinds of mechanisms that you can use. Because in an ideal world, what you want to do is to be able to automate the start of your funnel so that it doesn't take a lot of effort. Like what you were saying, Laura, you don't want to be spending all day, every day doing these small things. You really want to be focusing on where you have the most value. And then bringing people on that journey all the way down the funnel, and that's maybe where you interact more directly, more personally, with much greater duration with people further down into it. Because like in an ideal world, you've really got that process optimized where you've got a lot of people who are finding out about you, and those who your thing won't be for everybody, and that's fine. That's great. That's how the world works. But those people who like your style and like what you have to say and what you're doing, like they're the ones who'll stay around, and then you get to the point where those people are much more warmed up, and I don't know if they're ready to go to Bali with you, but you're not just going straight in cold as a stranger trying to sell to people, which just doesn't really work.
Yeah,
So yeah, I look
yeah.
forward to elaborating on that.
I love that, Pete. I always say create offers. Do not sell directly, just create an offer, and anyone who's needing that offer will take it up. Become a person of value and importance. I love that. So, upgrade the ticket to a VIP ticket, and you get to come 30 minutes early, network with us, and also receive the replay videos after the event. Can't wait. It's going to be so exciting. It's going to be, you're going to walk away with tangible tips on literally how to speak, how to communicate on a funnel side and on a speaking side. So, any final thoughts, Pete, before we leave today?
Yeah, definitely. I think one really important concluding thought from me is like, think about how you can give value to other people. That's really the heart of running a business enterprise from my experience. If you can offer somebody value, they will always want to come back for more. And you don't have to try to make money at every stage. You don't have to make money from that first little bit of value. I mean, obviously we need to live and eat in the world, so of course we do need to ask for money at some point. But like I find that the more you give, the more you get. So don't be stingy with offering value. Uh, really think about how you can help solve people's problems for them, that's when things go really, really well. If someone has a problem and you are the solution, give them a little bit of value, build up that rapport, build up that trust, demonstrate that you are the right person to help them. And then when you can solve their problem, everyone's going to be thrilled.
I love that so much. The world is waiting for your message. So, guys, what are you waiting for? Come to our event. The ticket link is below. There is general VIP. I think Pete's got a early bird happening on that ticket. Yes, for the next 4 days. So click the link below to get the early bird. And we can't wait to give you all of our experience. I've been in business for 15 years, so I'll package it up in a very easy 4-step formula so you can walk away and start implementing it into your business today. And Pete, how many years? 20 years plus?
Yeah, somewhere like the 15 to 20 mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't wait to see you there. Thanks so much for joining, and I'll see you later. Bye, everyone. Thanks, Pete.